Mad Mouse at Little Amerricka is a rare wild mouse coaster from Herschell. 34 of these Mad Mouse coasters were built in the 1950s and 1960s, but only 2 of them are still operating. While it's older than most wild mouse coasters you can find today, does it still have some advantages? Find out in this review. Herschell produced 3 different wild mouse layouts: the Mite Mouse, the Mad Mouse, and the Monster Mouse. The Mite Mouse was the smallest and least common, with only 5 built. None still remain. The Mad Mouse was the most common one, with 34 being built and 2 still remaining. You have Little Amerricka's Mad Mouse, plus the Wild Mouse at Arnold's Park. Herschell also offered a larger model called the Monster Mouse that featured 2 extra drops before the series of hairpin turns. Most interestingly, Herschell was able to upgrade a pre-existing Mad Mouse to transform it into a Monster Mouse. 8 ground-up Monster Mouses were produced, and 3 conversions were executed. None still operate, but there are 2 still standing but not operating, including one at Montana's Amusement Park Drive-In. If you're interested in hearing more about this particular model, I have a review on the defunct one that used to operate at Quasi. But back to the one at Little Amerricka. This ride previously ran at Enchanted Forest in Indiana, which later became Seven Peaks Water Park Duneland. After that park closed after the 1989 season, Little Amerricka purchased the Mad Mouse for just $6,000. Little Amerricka also purchased their Chance Toboggan for $30,000. Both coasters were installed at this Wisconsin park for the 1993 season. This ride looks and feels antiquated. The ride has a simple and mundane paint scheme, but the ride support structure is what really stands out. These Mad Mouse coasters may have the thinnest supports of any coaster. They look like metal toothpicks. The entire structure noticeably sways as the cars make their way through the course. All coasters are built with some degree of sway, but it's much more pronounced in this coaster. Little Amerricka runs 3 cars on Mad Mouse. This was perfect for a park of this size. Mad Mouse was never more than a 5-minute wait during my visit. The operator was dispatching cars at a steady rate. This is a super easy ride to check because there are 0 restraints. Yes, you heard that right. It is so weird to see a coaster nowadays with no lap bar nor seatbelt. Each car features a black paint scheme with some mouse decals on the side. The cars seat either 1 or 2 guests. If you go in tandem, make sure you're comfortable with your riding partner because you're going to be sitting in their lap. Riders sit inline style like a log flume. These cars also have a devious feature. Unlike most cars that feature a wheel assembly in both the very front and very back, the front wheel assembly on Mad Mouse is located roughly halfway up the vehicle. This means the nose of the car will extend beyond the track before it starts to turn. This makes the hairpin turns extra terrifying in this one. Once dispatched, you turn out of the station and descend just a 25-foot or 8-meter tall lift hill. And I love the sound of the anti-rollbacks on these Herschell Wild Mouse coasters. This may be a hot take, but I think it sounds more satisfying than the sound of the Arrow lift hills. You then navigate a series of elevated hairpin turns. The entire section is on a gradual downhill slope, so the car continuously builds up speed. One of the straightaways appears to have brake fins, but they don't slow the train one bit. The laterals increase in each turn and become quite strong on the final ones, especially since you have 0 restraints, so there's nothing stopping you from being thrown against the side of the car. Plus, you also have that terrifying visual that the car will careen off the track because of those aforementioned wheel assemblies. This leads into a shallow slope downwards. You then immediately round a moderately banked turn, which delivers a decent dose of sustained laterals. You then ascend back up and navigate the 2 most intense hairpin turns in the ride. You have more speed around these 180-degree turns, so you are abruptly slammed against the side of the car. Mad Mouse then navigates its largest drop, which is a downhill helix around the prior hairpin turns. The minimally banked turns offer some faint laterals along the way. The low turn heads uphill, and when the track levels off, you'll get a faint pop of airtime. Remember, you have no seatbelt, so you really will feel yourself lift off the seat even if the airtime isn't too strong. You then navigate a small dip, a small raised turnaround, and another bunny hill. These 3 drops all abruptly slam the car downwards. It's not painful, just jarring. These 3 drops do not offer airtime though. You then rise up into the brakes, and this ascent does give a nice pop of airtime. It's a fun way to end this 1,000 foot or 305 meter long coaster. Despite its age, Mad Mouse is quite comfortable. The train lurches forwards on some of the small drops, but it tracks fairly smoothly otherwise, even if it's over 60 years old. So what would I rate Mad Mouse? I would give this coaster a 6 out of 10. While this Wild Mouse has a smaller layout than most, the cars 100% make this ride. Having no restraints accentuates both the laterals and the few spots of airtime. And the visual of seemingly falling off the track makes this ride a little more terrifying than some hypercoasters. This one doesn't have the best drops, but the hairpin turns are some of the best of any Wild Mouse coaster. This is why I'll take it over a lot of modern installations. This is my favorite ride at Little Amerricka, and I'm glad this park has kept this ride running. So those are my thoughts on the Mad Mouse at Little Amerricka. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Have you ridden the one at Little Amerricka, or a clone in another park? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.